Meanwhile, the race for a coronavirus vaccine is heating up, in case you're wondering. The UK will start human trials of a vaccine this week. The drug has been developed at Oxford University. Here's a report on attempts from across the world to get quickly to a vaccine and finally relieve the world from this pandemic.
As the anxious world waits for a cure for COVID-19, around 35 companies and academic institutions from across the world are racing against time to create such a vaccine. The Jenner Institute and Oxford Vaccine Group in the UK, led by Professor Sarah Gilbert, believes the world can expect a large amount of this magic vaccine called Choadox1 by September of this year.
We might have a result by, say, September.
These scientists are so confident that they have already started manufacturing 1 million doses, all at risk of a trial.
We have started at risk manufacturing this vaccine, not just at the smallish scale that Kath Green described, but with a network of manufacturers, as many as 7 in different places around the world. We have 3 manufacturing partners in the UK, 2 in continental Europe, 1 in India and 1 in China.
The pharmaceutical giant Johnson & Johnson has announced its plans to begin human clinical trials of its COVID-19 vaccine by September 2020. They also made an ambitious claim of bringing out the first vaccine batches for emergency use by early next year. The company will be working with the US government to scale up the production. And as part of this arrangement, the US government will pay $421 million to support the company's efforts. Another biotech firm, the US-based Moderna, has even started its human trial phase. In an unusual move, Moderna skipped the animal test phase that vaccines go through before it is administered on humans. So how far are we from a vaccine? SARS-CoV-2, as the virus is called, shares between 80 and 90% of its genetic material with other forms of coronaviruses that cause SARS. Scientists had already been working on developing effective vaccines to combat SARS, MERS, are now repurposing them to develop vaccines against COVID-19. SARS-CoV-2 is a novel pathogen in humans, and many of the technologies being used to build vaccines are relatively untested. For the COVID-19 vaccine, researchers are also experimenting with new ways of constructing a vaccine. For the first time, the genetic code of the virus from its RNA is being used to build a vaccine. No vaccine made from genetic material RNA or DNA has ever been approved till date. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization has launched a multi-country drive called Solidarity to isolate drugs already approved by regulators for other diseases that can be utilized to fight COVID-19. The reason they are looking at already safety-tested drugs is that these don't need lengthy clinical trials and many are already on the market. Bureau Report, India Today.
China's People's Liberation Army has taken over the country's race to develop a COVID-19 vaccine. China is the only country in the world to be in phase 2 of these trials. The vaccine research will be under the supervision of the Chinese army, and publishing of any research by scientists has been barred. That's the kind of country the world is dealing with.
On that.
Marching at an extraordinary pace. One of China's most powerful organs, the People's Liberation Army, is now in full control of the Asian giant's pandemic warfare. As the world scrambles to develop a COVID-19 vaccine, the initial epicenter of the disease has empowered its army to take over the country's vaccine research program completely. First, the PLA banned the researchers from publishing any study on COVID-19 directly. It then took control of China's candidate vaccine trials in clinical phase. On March 17th, Chinese pharma company CanSino Bio announced a clinical trial as a joint venture with an academic institution. Turns out, in the official listing, later in the PLA's Academy of Military Medical Sciences, is in fact the institution involved in the vaccine program. The trial is listed against the name of top civilian Chinese researchers, but in all practicality, it has become a PLA project. The researcher briefing the Chinese state media on the progress of the vaccine is Major General Chen Wei, a top virologist with the Chinese army. Remember, China issued a notification that prohibited publication of unapproved research on COVID-19. As of today, China has 2 vaccine candidates under clinical trials. Also, China is the only country in phase 2 of this research. In an unprecedented crisis compounded by shortage of testing kits and medical equipment, experts are concerned about equitable distribution of potential vaccines.
There are many vaccine candidates that are in development, and we're working with many partners to accelerate this. And so as quickly as possible, quickly and safely as possible, we welcome this, and we welcome not only the development, but the equitable distribution of any vaccine that does become available, because we will need a vaccine in the future.
The involvement of the PLA may bring speed and efficiency in developing a COVID-19 vaccine. But the Army's intervention also raises profound questions about the future control of the drops, now most sought after by the human race. With Ankit Kumar, Bureau Report, India Today.
WHO chief Dr. Tedros, and you've seen him on television every single day, has vowed to keep working despite pressure from US lawmakers to resign. Speaking to the media yesterday, Tedros Adhanom urged the US to reconsider its decision to freeze funding to the WHO. He said the world body not only played an important role in helping the world, but also keeps the United States safe. President Trump last week announced a temporary halt to US funding to the WHO, alleging a cover-up on the seriousness of the coronavirus outbreak. Trump accused the WHO chief of being a puppet of China and misleading the world. US State Secretary Mike Pompeo had earlier slammed the WHO too over handling of the pandemic.
I hope US believes that this is an important investment, not just to help others, but for the US to stay safe also. For US to remain safe, the investment in other countries is very important. It's not just important for other countries, it is important for other countries that US supports, but at the same time it's important for the US itself. So I hope the freezing of the funding will be reconsidered.
Under fire from being China's corona puppet, Dr. Tedros, the chief of the WHO, has on a periodic occasion been tweeting these very cryptic tweets where he puts out just one word like love and humility and solidarity and unity. The latest one he's said is forgive, and that's led to a storm of speculation about what he's talking about. Is he seeking forgiveness, or is he talking his mind about forgiving those who are attacking him for bending to China?
A single word in a cryptic tweet. Is the chief of the World Health Organization seeking forgiveness? Or is Dr. Tedros saying he forgives those attacking him from around the world? Make what you will of the high-profile WHO Director General's tweet, but you must know that forgive is only the latest in a long list of such single-word strikes. The tweets began with US President Trump angrily seizing funding to the WHO on allegations that Tedros had used the organization to shield China in the COVID-19 war.
The World Health Organization receives vast amounts of money from the United States, and we pay for a majority, a biggest portion of their money. And they were wrong. They've been wrong about a lot of things. And they had a lot of information early, and they didn't want to, they seem to be very China-centric. And we're going to put a hold on money spent to the WHO. We're going to put a very powerful hold on it, and we're going to see. It's a great thing if it works, but when they call every shot wrong, that's no good.
The focus of all political parties should be to save their people. Please don't politicize this virus. It exploits the differences you have at the national level. If you don't want many more body bags, then you refrain from politicizing it.
Ever since Dr. Tedros has occasionally tweeted, compassion, honesty, unity, humanity, solidarity, forgive and stronger together. Could this be Dr. Tedros' way of calming himself while he faces attacks from every side?
I sent a tweet with a single word, humility. Some people asked me, why? COVID-19 is reminding us how vulnerable we are, how connected we are, and how dependent we are on each other. Scientific and public health tools are essential, but so are humility and kindness.
Virtually every tweet by Dr. Tedros has been met with mocking sarcasm, a manifestation of anger over reports that the WHO has played lackey to China while the world has bled. As global blame piles up at Dr. Tedros' door in the COVID-19 war, don't expect these Twitter defenses to stop anytime soon. Bureau Report, India Today.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.